Getting sick on launch week might not be ideal, but it's not stopping this deep dive into one of the most talked about devices of the year. The Nintendo Switch 2 is here, and from the moment you lift the lid on the box, it's clear that this isn't just a minor refresh. With a larger screen, refined Joy-Cons, and a bigger, more functional dock, this console blends familiarity with fresh upgrades that make it feel like a meaningful generational leap. The version opened here comes in a sleek black finish with subtle blue and salmon red Joy-Con accents. It's a striking look, less toy-like than the original Switch and more in line with what you'd expect from a mature hardware release. This particular unit is bundled with Mario Kart World and includes a digital copy of the game. There are two variations of the bundle, one with printed graphics on the box and another with a simple sticker featuring a redeemable code. The packaging is clean and modern, with vivid artwork that echoes the feel of the original OLED model, only now with a prominent 2 on the front that signals this is something new. The box showcases all 3 usage modes: tabletop, handheld, and docked, just like the original. Sliding open the top flap reveals the console and Joy-Cons placed front and center. There's a welcome familiarity to this layout, but you can tell the scale has shifted. Under the first layer, there's the usual stack of accessories and manuals. Included in the box are an ultra-high-speed HDMI 2.1 cable, a 60W USB-C power brick, a Joy-Con grip, Joy-Con 2 straps, the Switch 2 dock, and of course, the console itself with its newly redesigned Joy-Con 2 controllers. Picking up the console with Joy-Cons attached, it immediately feels larger and more solid than the OLED model. The screen has expanded from 7 inches to 7.9 inches, and that real estate makes a difference. The edge is very thin, with a hidden bezel under the anti-shatter safety film. That film isn't a screen protector, and it shouldn't be removed. It's there to help prevent glass shattering but offers minimal resistance to scratches. For those concerned about display longevity, applying a tempered glass protector is still essential. On the sides, the updated Joy-Con rail system features its own visual symbols and colors for each side. The most striking hardware change is the new magnetic connection system. The Joy-Con 2 controllers no longer rely on the original sliding rail latch system that was notorious for becoming loose or breaking over time. Instead, they snap into place magnetically and securely. The center tab they connect to is solid, and the connection is foolproof. It's hard to insert them wrong, and even if you try, the pins don't line up, which prevents damage. The Joy-Con 2 also features a larger eject button that's much easier to use. Instead of fiddling with tiny release buttons, pressing the trigger-like mechanism pushes out the controller gently and cleanly. Some users expressed concerns about the magnet strength being a debris trap, but this can be mitigated by keeping the slot sealed when not in use. Removing the Joy-Cons with the larger eject button is effortless. While it's technically possible to yank them off due to the magnetic force, it's not advisable. Though some users reported pinching while connecting the Joy-Cons, practical testing revealed it to be difficult to replicate, at least with average-sized hands. The button layout has evolved. The face buttons feel much more tactile, and the shoulder buttons now wrap farther around the top for easier access. The triggers are longer and contoured, making them comfortable for extended play and usable in mouse mode thanks to their shape. That said, the overall button feel remains close to the original, a little floaty and not a huge leap forward. One of the most talked about features was supposed to be the analog sticks. They now have larger, more rounded tops and are surrounded by a colored stick ring. The plastic feels soft, perhaps too soft, and although they glide smoothly and are responsive, they still use the same potentiometer system as before. That means they are still prone to drift over time. It's a shocking omission given how often this issue has plagued players since the original Switch launched. Nintendo claims improved durability and still offers free replacements, but skipping Hall effect sensors feels like a missed opportunity. Other updates include a front-facing player indicator LED which is noticeably brighter, an improved SL/SR button layout on the Joy-Con tops, and a new optical sensor for mouse mode, built into the Joy-Con feet. This works with the new Joy-Con straps that come in red and blue. These straps are also redesigned. They're wider, have glide feet to reduce wear, and include safety pegs to prevent incorrect attachment. The connection now snaps in from the bottom and locks at the top, a smart and safe improvement over the original method, which was prone to forcing and damage. The Joy-Con 2 grip remains mostly unchanged, though the grips themselves are slightly rounded. It still lacks pass-through charging, which is now part of an optional accessory. It does include LED pass-through and color-coded slots for each Joy-Con. The back buttons on a new model of the grip are remappable, which might appeal to competitive players or those who prefer custom layouts. Now on to the dock. It's larger and more rounded than the previous version, but it feels more plasticky and less premium than the OLED model. However, it does include a built-in fan for active cooling. The front LED indicates when the console is docked. On the bottom are 4 rubber feet and more ventilation. The back of the dock can be popped open to reveal ports: USB-C for power, HDMI out, and Ethernet. There are also 2 USB-A ports on the side. Inside the dock is a familiar USB-C docking mechanism with alignment pegs. It's now easier to insert the console due to a wider slot, but care still needs to be taken not to let the screen rub against the inside edge. A screen protector or dock sock remains recommended. Once inserted, the console slightly protrudes from the top, making it easy to grab and remove while allowing users to see the charging icon. The included HDMI 2.1 cable supports 4K at 60 Hz and 1080p at 120 Hz with HDR and VRR. The 60W charging brick works with the included USB-C cable, or with your own, provided it's rated correctly. In the hand, the new console feels better balanced. The added size distributes weight more evenly, and although the Joy-Cons still aren't ideal for long sessions, third-party grips will help. The matte black color has a speckled finish that adds character, and the softened blue and red tones feel modern and subtle. Overall, this hardware feels like a major step forward. It echoes the transition from the original 3DS to the 3DS XL. Not revolutionary, but definitely smarter and more polished. It's bigger, more powerful, and has new tech, but it still feels like a Switch at heart. That's not a bad thing at all. Some decisions, like sticking with the old stick technology, are frustrating, but the improved build, display, speakers, and magnetic system make this a worthy successor. Now begins the real test: gaming, customization, and pushing the limits of what this new console can do. There's so much to explore. For fans of the original Switch, the Switch 2 brings just enough change to feel like a new generation while staying comfortably familiar. It may not be the Super Nintendo Switch in name, but in experience it gets surprisingly close.